the Sheriff Holston walked into the deepest cell, locked the door, but the next second, he threw the key away. At the same time, deputy advised him not to do anything stupid. However, Holston still said something that must not be said in the underground.
I want to go out.
So far no one has survived if it said these words. It turned out that humans in the future world lived 1,500 meters underground. People, animals and plants lived in an orderly manner in specific areas. There was a special rule in the underground world. Anyone who said the words "I want to go out" would be sent to the ground to do cleaning work. Those people on the ground were poisoned by the toxins in the outside world. But Holston still said the forbidden words without hesitation. It was precisely because of the mysterious death of his wife Allison 3 years ago. That day Allison yelling in restaurant. The outside world was actually full of birds singing and flowers fragrant. Ruins seen on screen in fact was deliberately modified by the management. The purpose was to imprison people here. Never had the thought of going out, but she saw no reaction from anyone. Then she shouted out the forbidden words. I want to go out! As a sheriff, her husband had no choice but to send her to the ground world in person. The crowd watched Allison go out through real-time live broadcasts. After Allison walked out, she wiped the camera outside. Everyone thought excitedly they could finally survive in the outside world. Unexpectedly, she fell to the ground after a few steps she took. Couldn't move anymore. The hope of the peoples was dashed once again, but only the sheriff knew. His wife told him before leaving, if could survive outside world, she would go back and wipe the camera. So there must be another reason for her death. To find out the truth, Holston also said that he wanted to go out, so he was put on protective clothing and sent out. Holston walked through the long stairs to the door in the ground world. After opening, he was deeply shocked by the scene in front. It was really like what his wife said, full of birdsong and flowers. There were even birds flying in the sky. He desperately wanted the people in the underground to know the truth, so desperately turned around and ran towards the camera, wiped the dust off with wool. However, the big screen in the underground showed the opposite picture. What the people saw was Holston also went to the ruins. As Holston walked towards his wife's body, he felt dizzy even after walking a few steps. He suspected the real toxin might be hidden in his own suit, so he did something that no one had ever done before, just took off the helmet. But his physical condition was already very bad. Soon he fell next to his wife. Hope of survival outside has been dashed once again, but only one woman realized. Holston took off helmet before dying. There must be his reason. The sheriff gave Juliet a mysterious hard drive before leaving. He said there might be an evil secret about the bunker hidden inside, but because it was too difficult to remove the encryption, Juliet secretly asked for help from IT experts. After studied it for 3 full years, they finally successfully removed the encryption. Then, the video inside shocked Juliet completely. The view outside was actually full of birdsong and flowers. Maybe Allison saw this video back then. She just yelled in the restaurant to go out. And the reason why the sheriff took off his helmet, maybe it was a hint that there was poisonous gas in the protective suit. So Juliet resolutely asked to go to the ground to perform cleaning task. But she was so smart that she held her breath since she put on the helmet. When Juliet walked to the ground step by step, the sight of blue sky and white clouds surprised her, but soon she realized something was wrong. In the sky, the number and flight paths of birds were exactly the same with what she watched in the video. That was to say, the picture displayed inside the protective suit was fake. The real truth was that the management deliberately released this information, lured a small number of curious people to the ground, just to use them to clean the camera, good for observing the outside world. At the same time, use their bodies to test whether the poison gas still existed. There was no poison inside the protective suit at all. The real cause of death of Allison and the sheriff was the poison gas on the ground after they were deceived by the management. In order to protest, Juliet threw the wool at the screen. She would never be obedient to wipe the camera as management wished. Then the leader was a little panicked, but everyone in the past would have been poisoned before leaving the hillside, so she definitely wouldn't live long. Really, Juliet also collapsed on the hillside. People's hope of going out was once again dashed, but after a while, she miraculously stood up again. It turned out she just tripped over the corpses of the sheriff and his wife. Juliet actually kept walking out without any injuries, went to the hillside. Everyone was so surprised. Juliet proved it with her actions. The earth at this moment was ready for human survival. This scene went beyond the management's expectation. They quickly turned off the fake screen on the protective suit. Let Juliet also see the true scene of the ground. The earth was now barren, lifeless, but there were countless similar pits around the pit where their silo was located. It turned out they were not the last humans alive on Earth. Silos like theirs, millions more.